Okay, let's do this. It is 46 degrees, but it still feels like it's freezing, but I'm cold all the time, so I'm a bad judge of that. Holy cow. Ooh, burr, 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 burr. I don't know how I'm going to top yesterday. Yesterday, I talked about some really serious stuff, and it's been getting better and better as we go along, but now we are hitting I think a plateau, at least. I hope it's plateauing. I hate to go down, but we're getting, I like to have more episodes like the last one, so things that are easy to talk about, but actually have some real meaning. Sun was in my eyes and I didn't even see the person jogging. He definitely did not care about me either. So I could have hit him and not even have known it. We're gonna do this. We're gonna, that there is definitely room for improvement and definitely places to go, but that's kind of what I want this to be, is just kind of like me, talking about how I feel about things, and talking with Rick, things that have substance in it. And it's thanks to you. It's thanks to you. It's the reason why I was able to do such a good episode, is because of the comments that people make and things that people say. I am unavailable for dating right now, but who knows what the future holds. Nah, I'm not dating material anymore. I'll just talk about it. What happened in the past. Doesn't mean I don't love you guys any less. I love you guys even more. Just not really dating material. Probably will never date again. It's fun to, but he was one of the good ones, My one boyfriend was definitely one of the good ones that I dated, and definitely, I have to admit, I'm probably not the easiest person. Speaking about dating, let's do the topic on dating, since I'm talking about my dating prospects, or lack of prospects. When I was dating, when I was, available, I was a lot to handle. I was not an easy. I was for the advanced players. I was not for a beginner player. And I'm starting when I was like 18. I was not an easy person to date. I was very headstrong. I already had already knew everything, that I needed to know to get through in life, and was not ready to do that with me, you know, and this kind of like, you know, gets into where people were shy and bashful and stuff like that. Yeah, I was not. I would probably embarrass a person who is shy too much. Mortification, you know, embarrassment. And, you know, I'm talking to, you know, my acceptance of people is like only a good attribute of me, but I have a lot of bad attributes. It's like I said, I'm a very intense and a lot to take in, and I think most of the people I dated had no idea or did not know where they stood, because people had lied to them. You know, everybody had lied to them where they stood. That when I was being honest with them, because that's one of my good and bad traits. Where we stand in the relationship, you know, how I feel about them, and things like that. You know, they're so used to people, you know, gushing and, you know, just basically lying to them that, you know, when you talk about your needs and things that you want, and you want to hear their needs and their wants, you know, it's beyond comprehension for a lot of people. Like I said, I'm not for beginners. I was not I was not the first boyfriend. We could never be a first boyfriend. And for the few people that I was their first boyfriend for, I am sorry. I probably ruined you for all times. Most of my relationships ended poorly, ended badly, and usually with a lot of pain. Mostly to me. Here I am saying mostly to me. I know what I felt. Truly. And, you know, I've been stabbed and shot and thrown out windows and hit by cars and beat up by brothers and husbands and, you know, ex-lovers and things like that. I have had my share of that. Relationships have ended, and it's, yeah, I used to think that most of the people that I was dating were just innately crazy, and you know what, maybe some of them really were, and that could definitely have been the case, but not most of them. I met most of them. They were, you know, sweet, enjoyable, fun to be around. I believed we shared the same interests. Things that, you know, I wanted to do was on equal footing with the things that they wanted to do. Little did I know that for the most part, it was just basically they were placating me. And that's where the rub comes in. And I know it's hard to say that, you know, because I probably wouldn't have dated them if we didn't have those shared interests. Yeah, we probably wouldn't have even like, you know, gone out and then, you know, done most of the things that we did together if it wasn't for the things that we shared and things that we liked. I mean, I know most of the girls and most ladies that I dated, you know, did not like playing Dungeons and Dragons, did not like creating characters. I know. Got them sucked into this thing. But, you know, because they showed me interest in it, and basically I didn't realize that people just wanted to, you know, these women just wanted to spend time with me. They didn't want to, you know, this is what I was doing, this is where they wanted to be. And it was kind of, yeah, I kind of abused that, that privilege that they were giving me, because I thought it was shared. Yeah, and obviously that's one of the reasons why, like, I think I was making them fucking crazy. Like, literally making them crazy. Because my interest varied widely. Oh, I was into everything. I was small. I was a little person, so and most sports, with the exception of maybe rugby, most sports I was just too small to play, to participate in. I was getting crushed. I kind of like track and field because that's almost an individual thing. But any feats of strength or anything like that, I wasn't weak, but I definitely wasn't, I wasn't able to compete, is basically what I'm trying to say. Couldn't play basketball. I was horrible at wrestling. And the only way that I won was because I was so small that they didn't even have an opponent in my weight class. And I was lighter than my weight class. So I was never cutting weight. That was the lightest weight class they had. I think it was 85 pounds. But when some of the people were able to cut weight down to the lightest weight, I got bumps right away. I literally was there as a placeholder for my wrestling stint. But my interest, I'm interested in lots of things. I'm interested in things that they're interested in. And sometimes when they don't give me an answer and I make suggestions and they think that that's what I want to do, sometimes I'm doing things that I thought that it was because they liked it, and I just have a passing interest in it. My dating thing was, I have to admit, was kind of really weird and very confusing to me because I didn't understand it. I still don't understand the whole wooing, the whole wooing process. It just does not make sense to me. That's why I had to make up my own rules. And very similar to the the loud noises rules. I do it. Date one. We date once. If we break up, that's it. The dating's over. We don't go back. And I broke that rule. Every time I broke that rule, it blew up in my face. Only once. Only once did it not. Only once did the getting broken up with and then getting right back together actually work out. Only once. And that's I can't even express how rare that was. But of every woman that breakup didn't even last 24 hours. That breakup was kind of oh, I think this was a mistake and a very misunderstanding, and the communication line was starting to break down, and once we patched up the communication line, that was why it never ended well, and I even knew it too. I even saw it, I could see it coming a mile away, and still I'm stuck in it. Trying to ease the breakup that was going on as much as possible.
doing stupid things like, oh yeah, like what I'm doing with Twitch, my relationship with Twitch. Exactly the same. My relationship with Twitch is not going to end well. There's no way. I'm already so bitter. The reasons, this is the truth. The reasons that you break up is the reasons that are going to end your relationship. It's extremely rare to fix those things that broke you guys up in the first place and be able to move on. Especially like forgiveness. I had women cheat on me and think I can get back together with me. And I'm not a stickler to the, you date one person and everything like that, and you have people I've dated can date other people. It is as long as it's in the open. If you're sneaking behind my back, I don't know if it's a thrill of it or I don't know why people do that. I don't know why people would cheat. But I did date a lot of people's wives, so I was with a lot of married women in my day, and I was the other guy. And not once did I think like, oh, they're going to divorce their husband and get with me. It's not why I dated them. I dated them because they were married. Dated them because they can go back to their husbands. I have to admit, I never really wanted to be attached. I thought it would cut down on my freedom. I definitely know that it would impede my creativity. Every relationship that I've been with, every relationship, not even a sexual relationship, but every relationship, friend, acquaintance, nothing like that. Every relationship like that always interferes with my creative ability and my ability to do it. It's one of the reasons it is part of my introvertedness and part of my stubbornness of like how I have to do things alone and things like that. And I do my best. I do my best to share in it. And doing that, like I said, the previous episode, even though these are just me, and I was in full control over, the conversation for yesterday's episode. But I was inspired enough to do it. But like it's still me. It's still all 100% me. This channel has always been 100% me. Everything that I've done has been, by my design. And the help, and I ask for help, and I do my best. This is really too difficult for me to ask for help, and it's really difficult for me to take suggestions and to try to meld or and I hate this word compromise so much because of it, because I never compromised in any of my relationships, so why the fuck should I compromise with my art? My art is not compromisable. It's one way or the other. I'm either drawing what you want or I'm drawing what I want. And if I'm drawing what you want, you better be fucking paying me. Otherwise, your opinion means shit. I mean, it's literally boils down to that. Yeah, I can't express how badly most advice is. And how difficult, how hard it is to take the advice. Especially when I know better. So asking for help, trying to be that person, that giving, almost loving, caring, is difficult for me. I know that I try to come across as a caring and loving person, and but I don't know, maybe deep down I'm not. I want to be, because I hope that matters in it. I work very hard at it, to try to get what I want. I think that it might be a part of who I am, and maybe a missing part of who I am. I know that I believe, and this might be untrue. I believe it's what's keeping me from my tribe, or finding out who they are and gathering them together, because I'm too abrasive. I talked about my fan club, in college yesterday, and it was awful for me to call them. I still call them my fan club. I still, to this day, call them my fan club. And it really should have been my tribe. I should have held on to those people for dear fucking life. And I didn't. I let them all go. Let them all go, and I moved to freaking California. Lost touch with almost every single one of them. And then now, it's been 30 years, so now 30 years later, I am not in touch with any of them. And on their part, there is not any of their fault. I wish some of them would find me here. I would love to find out what they've been up to, how they've gotten on, whether they stayed in touch with a lot of the people in the group. I would love for them to be my sparks. I would just break down and cry. I'm going to say literally again, and it is true. It would literally be that way, but I would just break down and cry if that happened. I wouldn't know what to say. I think that I hurt them so much. I think that I caused so much damage, so much rift amongst the group. I did that. I don't think that they stayed in touch with each other after I was gone. It's one of the reasons why the group, when it started breaking up and they started doing, what normal communities on Twitch need to do. It's not like part of the. It's not written down. There's no written rules or anything like that. But as a streamer grows and reaches certain levels, they need to purge, and that's part of it. And when you have a group of misfits that are pretty much doing their own thing, with or without the streamer, they need to be purged out. And if I stayed, if I wasn't, if I had more time, because when the streamer was doing it 24 hours a day, obviously any time that I could spare, I could give. When the streamer stopped doing that and was only on a 3 or 4 hour and and sometimes even 2-hour stream that they were doing it pretty much every day, those 3 hours were not hours that I could spare. So I was out. I was, like with most VTubers at the time, I was out of the live action, the live portion of the stream. So all I had was anything that, the videos, the clips, taking out a lot of the endless chatter and stuff like that, and only seeing like the good stuff, which is good. I actually prefer that, if you really want to know the truth. The interaction is amazing to me. It's different, but I really don't prefer that. I do that because if you've ever watched any of my live videos, watching me live, this is going to be live, even though I'm taping. This is a recording. I'm watching this live, so if somebody made comments, I can actually respond to them. That's how I've been doing it. But if you've ever watched any of these things live, this or my streamathon or anything of that nature, you'll know that my interaction with chat is almost non-existent. There is a few drips and drabs, and you'll see that I'm a complete and total spaz, and I overdo it, and I'm over the top, because this is the only interaction that I'm getting, and I'm giving it 100%. And that's it. My relationship with you is, I feel it is a kind of a contract. And you are fulfilling your side of the contract by watching, and I am fulfilling my side of the contract by, not giving what you want, but continuing to do this and to provide the content for you to watch. If it's something you don't want to watch, you don't have to watch it. If it's something you do want to watch, you do have to watch it. When our contract, if I grow, we'll just pretend. Let's hypothetically say, let's say I grow to where I'm monetized, to where there's 1,000 people subscribed to me on YouTube, and the chat is fuller. You would see my interaction with the chat become less. It would be more direct. I would, as it's scrolling by, I would read whatever chat catches my eye, which is probably one of the highlighted ones. If I read that and I'm interacting with you, I will respond to that. And then there's going to be 20, 30, 40, depending on how much the chat, I watch Iron Mouse, she plows through it. She's good. I don't know if I would be that good. And I don't know if it just comes with, dealing with it all the time. That, you're able to actually see the different reactions as opposed to all the same reactions, and you can do all the same reactions as a lump answer. Like you're talking to the people who said the same answer. Like if somebody said, if she goes, what color should I make it? And 100 people say green, she could say, oh, green's a good idea. Green's a good color. I think more people are voting for blue, but I like green, thank you. Those 100 people already automatically think that, she's talking to them. You don't hear, well, she might do it sometimes, but there's not a lot of, oh, I'm seeing a lot of green. No, it's she would just point out that, people are voting for green as if she saw a green color and this. And if she sees a lot of blue, she's like, oh, there's a lot of blue. Oh, that orange. Yeah. You wouldn't use blue you wouldn't talk to the people who voted blue. You would then talk to the people voting orange. So you eventually get to blue again. Well, you're like a lot of people with blue. I see that. It's like that. People will think that she's talking directly to them, that she's responding to that post. She's good at it. I would like to be good like that. I try to comment unique stuff, and when it does get a response, she does. She with the 1,000 scrolling emotes and stuff like that she's got going on. She does pick out the people who actually type in sentences and stuff like that. Oh, that's a lot of people here. She actually does. Do that. So yeah, my dating is very. Yeah, I wouldn't want to thrust myself upon anybody. It's not a. I'm not a catch. I think is probably the best way to say it. I'm a complete and total mess and a disaster, and I think that I'm creative and an artist, and it's difficult for a person who's with me to know what to support, what to tell me to let go, and especially if they're an artist themselves or want to be creative. And I'm trying to support that, their art, their way of doing things. And yeah, I would probably, I'd do my best not to resent, things and, how things turned out in my life. But I'm mad at myself most of the time. I didn't have to give up certain things. I didn't have to do certain things that I ended up doing, but I did. I did them. And, this is the consequences of that. This is the consequence, when I was talking about freedom a couple days ago, this is the consequences of, having that sort of freedom, of turning down fame, of, not following the path that that others, have basically laid before me, and me going my own way. There's no happy ending. There's no he overcame. It's just what it is. It's just life. And a lot of life is this. Going to your job, making ends meet. And hopefully you're a person that likes what they do. I think that I provided a very nice service. So there's good with my job. I don't like the way the job is set up. I don't like how I've been treated. I've been doing it for a decade now, and in the 10 years, I've never hated a job and hated myself for taking it as much as I do this job, and how much I need it, how much I want to basically shove it in their face that I don't need them. Every day I think that. Every day it's probably one of the reasons why you guys get me ranting all the time as I'm commuting into work, because I dread this commute. and you don't see me doing a commute home, because that's a good thing. That I feel good about. I dread this. I dread going into this. Here I am. I'm sitting outside my work right now talking to you guys, because I'd rather do that than go in early. It's horrible. I mean, it's not a way to live. And it's barely, I want to say barely paying my bills. I'm not paying my bills. I'm not getting ahead of it, and I have no expenses anymore, and I've cut out everything I possibly can from my life, just to get my bills paid. And it's probably a good thing I own my house, because if I try to rent in a house or an apartment, a smaller apartment, I wouldn't be paying double. I would be paying double what I'm paying in my mortgage. And then with all the other expenses, like I couldn't imagine renting right now. All the horrible landlords I've had over the years. Couldn't imagine having any one of those landlords as my landlord now, because I've had every place that I've ever lived, and it's in the high double digits. It's almost triple digits. It might be triple digits. I'd have to count it up. But I lived a lot of places, and only once did I have a landlord that I liked. Only once did I have a landlord that worked with me. Only once. And I was the same landlord, just so you know. It wasn't two different landlords. Only once. Only once there was, it worked out. Every other place that I've lived, every other things that I've done, it's not worked out, either for me or for the people I live with, my roommates and things like that. It's always been horrible. It's always been bad. And people were just, it's like it's like entitlement that they have with, the fact that you're paying rent. But none of them good. All of them horrible. And I don't know if they were horrible people. They might be the nicest people in the world, but as landlords, they just absolutely I'm so happy I don't have to deal with that. My landlord right now is my bank, who really owns my house, as I pay them my rent, which is a mortgage, with the hopes that eventually I'll own my house. But it's definitely a lot cheaper than freaking renting right now. So couldn't even imagine that. What a horrible thing. But yeah, so yeah, that's probably one of the reasons why you're getting like most of my anger and ire, because I have to I put on a face. I fake my way through this day, and then I get out and I can relax. And yeah, I definitely don't want you guys to see me after I get out of work, because having to take off the mask and realize oh, I can just be myself again. It's just, I think it's kind of ugly. Actually, I think my fake persona is kind of ugly. I don't know why people even like it, but I do it. Do it just to do it. Do it because it is worth money. But my job doesn't deserve it. In fact, it doesn't even deserve me working hard. The way they've treated me. And the amount of money that they owe me. I should be freaking just angry all the time. Alright, I'm gonna go in. I hope wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you're having a good time doing it. I hope you are doing what you love and really, really enjoying it. And I envy you, and I wish I were you. So you have a wonderful day, and as always, cool beans. All right, take care.